Hello everyone, hope you guys are doing well. So today we will be continuing on with the journey of CSS. So today we will be studying about values and units. Okay, now in this chapter we will tackle features that are the basis for almost everything you can do with CSS. The units that affect the colors, distances, size of a whole host of properties, as well as units that help to define it. Or heading text should be a certain size. So what he's trying to say is here we are. So today we'll be dealing with like what are the units. For example, if we say the pixel should be 10 or what, that is basically something, and then we'll be mentioning something like, for example, if you measure something, right, we need some sort of unit. So then, which type of units to do? For example, when we are measuring length, we use centimeters or meters, right? In SI, we don't say length in kgs. So in similar ways, we are going to learn like which units to use well. Which units needs to be used well, like when used to be used when. Okay, now keywords strings and other text values. Now everything in a style CSS is text, but certain value types directly represent strings of text as opposed to say number or colors. Included in this category are URLs are interestingly enough images. And keywords for those times when a value needs to be described with a word of some kind, CSS as keywords. A common example is the keyword none, which is distant from 0, just to remove the underline from the link. Certain keywords. Now, so there are certain words that are used in CSS. How to minimize this thing? It's doing. I wanted to reduce the size. Okay, now for those when a value needs to be described with a word of some kind, so something, there are CSS keywords. For example, key is a keyword, right? You specify a weight. So similarly, there is something called as keywords in CSS that will help us to define like what type of value are we using. For those times when a value needs to be described in a word, there are some kinds of keywords. Okay, now for example, this is a link tab and text decoration is none. So he's giving us an example where to use none. Now similarly, if you want to force underline on the links, you will use the keyword underline instead of none. So here use something like underline, don't have this none thing. If a property accepts keywords, its keyword will be defined only for the scope of that property. If two properties use the same word as a keyword, then the bearer of the keyword for one property will not necessarily be shared with. So basically it's trying to say if I have two text, like if I am using in another property which has the same keyword, there is no relation between them. As an example, normal as defined for letter spacing means something very different. For example, if I have font style normal and text spacing normal, both defined, then those would not be like those do not mean anything. Like those both of them mean different things. Now CSS defines 5 global keywords that are accepted every property in the specifications. There are certain keywords that are accepted by every property. First is inherit, initial, unset, revert, and revert. Inherit. The word inherit makes the property of an element as the same as the property of the parent. In other words, it forces the inheritance to occur every even in the situation where it will not normally operate. In many cases, you do not to specify. Then there is something called as inherit. So basically, the child properties will inherit it from the parent, but this generally inheritance occurs naturally. But sometimes where we need to do it manually, we'll have to use the inherit keyword. For example, background blue color white. Now the toolbar is here, right? And then so the anchor. Now the div itself will have a wide enough foreground, but the links will be styled according to the browser's preference setting. So then for this we will use something like inherit. You can write or use, for example, toolbar color inherit. So what he's trying to say is there are some situations where even though inheritance should work, it won't work. At those conditions we can use the word inherit. Ordinarily, directly assign styles over at inherited styles would inherit can do that behavior. It might not always be a good idea. For example, your links might blend into surrounding text too much and become a usability and accessibility issue. It can be done. Similarly, you can put a property value on a parent. Only not inherited if you want a span to inherit the border. So instead of inheriting all the properties, you can, yeah, this gives us more advantage. Like you inherit only one specific property that you wanted to inherit. More likely, though, you want the border of the span to use the same color as in that case span. Do the just like on which property, just mutate inherit. Now initial is thus the value to a defined initial value, which is in the way resets the value. For example, font weight is normal, therefore declaring font weight initial is the same as declaring font. So initial basically this keyword sets the property of the initial values, but it will be a bit silly that not all values have explicitly. So what is trying to say, there are not everything does not have an initial value. It depends upon the user agent. This is not a funky keyword for you should type. What it means, the default value of color depends on things like preference settings. There are others as option, other issues as well, but almost nobody changes the default text color from setting from black to someone might set it to a dark gray or even a brighter. By declaring color initially, you're telling the browser to set the color of the element to whatever the user's default color is set to. Okay, initial is going to set the initial values. Now all properties do not have an initial value. Unset. The keyword unset acts as a universal stand-in for both inherit and initial. If the property is inherited, unset has the same effect as if inherit were used. If the property is not inherited, then it makes unset useful for setting a property by cancelling out any other style that might be applied to it. The unset is going to remove the styles. Unset has the same effect as if it's initial. If it's is inherited, unset has the same effect as if inherit were used. However, if the property is not inherited, then it will apply initial value. Revert. And the revert is just the value of a property, the value of the property that would have had if no changes had been made by the current style origin. Revert lets you say all property values for this element to be as if the author styles don't exist, but user agent and user styles do. This means that the property whose value is inherited will be given the same value as that of its parent. The revert keyword is useful when you have a bunch of site-wide applying onto an element. Let's look into some examples. Incognito. So yeah, building on these notes, what we can write, what we can right now is really okay, so there are keywords in CSS. Let's so basically how we are going to learn values, and so there are specific unit use cases which we will learn. Now then there are certain keywords in CSS. First is inherit, this is parent child, then is unset. So here I have two options. So one is if there is no inheritance. Okay, then I guess before unset we have something called as initial. Just let's go to initial. So set default value. And if there is no inheritance, it will be not all CSS has. And default. Then it will be initial. Then it is same. It will be same as inherit. Now then let's go for then we have revert. So like by default inheritance happens automatically. This is revert. What does revert do? What does revert do? Revert in CSS. Does it store a property? Okay, so for example, if I do restore to original, restore to default, yeah, does undo previous time. And then there is something called as revert layer as well. Now the latent only Firefox supports the revert layer, but we anticipated being since layering is a very new concept, right? So only Firefox is having it and so mouse the all property. Now these global values are usable on all properties, but one special property accepts only the converters all. Now say all the all property. These global values are usable on all properties, but one special property that accepts only the global keyword all. The all property is a standard one for all properties except direction. Now what is this all? All property is something new. All property CSS. What does it mean by all property? If declare all inherit on an element, you say oh, so he's saying there is something called as all inherit as well. All inherit. So what does all inherit do is what's the difference between inherit and all inherit? Mostly all support inheritance. Also, instead of writing the styles again, you just say all inherit. So whatever the parent has been, there's something called as all as well. This is a properties are basically the CSS declaration is something like property value. So inherit or value, these are our values, right? I can't say property, these are values. Now this is a property. So which are used as values. Then let's gonna come down. Now this is property, right? Will inherit all styles in the parenting. If I say all colon inherit, right? So all colon all properties on parent where inheritance does not work. The string value. Okay, the section. So onset is, yeah. So by saying that, we would always like the odds that are that you really want in this situation is all inherit. So all inherit will be used more. All unset will be used. Is it any type? Yeah. Okay. So is we just want to inherit the properties. What is that you for the section element? Okay. But a style sheet may vary. Again, same like will unset. Same. It's the same like inheritance. But it will a string value is an arbitrary sequence of characters wrapped in either double quotes and represented with value definition with strings. So like this is a string. Note that the covariance, which is to say, okay, this is. Now note that the only acceptable string delimiters are. No, I'm just talking about what are strings. Strings is basically something. Okay. And this is a network unit. String in CSS is anything in single or double quotes. A single. Okay. Then we come to identify something. What is identifiers? Okay. Now one word case sensitive string that should not be quoted as custom are known as identifiers. Represented in CSS syntax are ident or custom ident depending upon the specification. Identifiers are used as animation names, grid lines. Identifier themselves are words that are not case sensitive. My ID. What is identify? What am I identifying? Name of the label used to identify level classes or other aspects of a web page. Identifiers are used to target all this. This is selector, right? So it's telling this is an P reason. Identifiers. They're basically case sensitive strings that should not be quoted or known as identifiers. Sensitive, not imports. Then come to URLs. Now, if you written web pages, you are almost certain familiar with the uniform resource locator or URLs. Whenever you need to refer one as in the import statement, which is when using and importing an external style sheet. So I say URL and then whatever is the protocol. You can use string or double quotes as well. There is no notion to mention the string tag. This example defines an absolute URL. The URL works no matter where the URL. The absolute URL of the image will follow this go here and go here and go here. This URL is valid no matter what is written on another page. So inside of URL I need to give a string. It can be a path name, can use single or double quotes again depending, and there is something else. So when I have this HTTP as well, it will be using quoted, right? So then I have URLs. URLs is basically URL. Either I have a name and then I have a URL and string. Example URL. This is at the import will cause the browser to look for style sheet directed. So add simply something at the rate import. That depends how you give. This is the absolute or the relative path. It can be anything. Right now inside what is at the rate import? This is something. It is used to import external styles in places when this is okay. So now when I write this, then I'm going to this path. So again we can use style as well. So what is the difference between style again? So style tag will be present in the HTML, right? The import, or you can have more than one. Yeah. And there's something called as at the rate import. We can at the rate import and then URL. So what happens is URL mentioned in the and the style sheet present there will be looked after. Okay. Advantage is modularizing codes. Instead of having something or everything in one CSS, different files. Okay. Now, there is something called as SRC as well, but this is this has just come in 2022. Now, image is an image value is a reference to an image. You might have guessed its syntax is image. No, image. The image value is the reference to an image. So this is a value, remember. So we have already started talking about certain values now. Okay. Image value is a reference to an image. You might have guessed. And the most basic level of support, which is to say one very CSS in the planet will understand an image value is a URL value. In more modern user agents, image stands for the following: URL, uniform source locator, gradient, image set. A set of images shows and is not a set of conditions embedded into value, which is defined as image set, but is more widely recognized with WebKit prefix. For example, -WebKit image will specify that a large image be used for desktop layouts or a smaller used for mobile design. This value is intended to at least approximate the behavior of SRCD headroom of a picture. So there is something called as image value in CSS. Image value. We're not talking about tags right now. What's the use of having? This is HTML tag, right? We'll see that later on. Numbers and percentages. Now, number and percent. Now we are going to the units. The numbers and percentages serve as the foundation of many other value types. For example, font sizes and defined using EM unit preceded by a number. But what kind of number? Understanding the types of numbers here will help you to better grasp the integer. An integer is a value, basically something that is without a decimal point. Some properties define a range of acceptable values. Integer value follows a defined range by default considered invalid and cause the entire declaration to be ignored. However, some properties define that cause values outside the percentage range to be set. Z property. There is no restricted range. Use of sergeant must support values. Okay. Now let's come to numbers. First number is integers. Must be specified in the given range, else will be ignored. Okay, the numbers. The number value is either an integer or a real number, which is to say an integer followed by a dot. Number, then it can be so I can have a decimal as well. And they are separated values in terms of Luxembourg only. For example, okay, now you're saying no, I was talking about the soda. So when we have decimals, we say that is a number. CSS convention. Using tab. Anything other? Anything other than integers? No, not some properties. Only take integers. Okay. Now as we opacity list is ordered to be any valid number in the range 0 to 1. Some properties define behavior. For those that do not remember values that fall outside defined range are considered invalid and cause the entire declaration to be. So be careful that whatever value we are mentioning or assigning to a property, it is defined in that percentage in that range. The percentage value is a number followed by a percentage sign. Okay. Yeah, can be anything. Example 50%. Percentage values are always relative to another value. So whenever we are mentioning percentage, it is relative to something. Percentages are always related in nature. Is this like random something? Are you missing me? Did I skip something? I'm not sure. Like I said, I did skip something. Okay. Chapter 5. No, right. I'm correct. The fractions is a fraction value is a number followed by FR unit label. One fraction unit is one FR. FR units represents a fraction of the leftover space. What is there is something what is fractions as well. Fractions. A fraction or a fraction value or a flexible ratio is a number followed by the FR unit label. One fractional unit is FR. FR units so represents this represents a fraction. Represents a fraction of unit space. Leftover space. Leftovers. Now distance. Many CSS properties such as margins depend upon length measurements to properly display various page elements. It is likely no surprise then CSS provides multiple ways to measure length. All length units can be expressed as either positive or negative numbers. You can also use real numbers, that is with decimal fractions. All length units are followed by a short abbreviation that okay. Now this is all about, now let's come to distances. Distances is basically here we are going to do length based measurements. This can be fractional, integer, sorry, can be decimal. Basically can be numbers. The absolute length units. Now we'll start with absolute units because they are easy to understand. Now in distances first is absolute units. It's a direct draw value. For example, centimeters. You would find on a ruler that the world over it is 2.4 and 1 centimeter. So absolute value means raw value, right? Absolute meaning is basically something that is raw or exact. In English. What is absolute mean in English? When I say it's absolute. Yeah, so it is basically without any conditions. Without any conditions. For example, centimeter. Then I have millimeter. Then I have inches. Then I have quarter. I don't know when I have. This is something. Quarter milli. Points. And then because. Now because is another typological term that is equivalent to 12 points. Okay. That is 12 points. Is one because. Then pixel. A pixel is a small box on screen, but CSS defines pixels more abstractly. In CSS term, pixel is defined to the size required to yield 96 pixels per inch. Many user engines ignore this definition in the favor of simply addressing the pixels on the screen. Scaling factors are brought into play when paint zooming or printing, where an element 100 pixel wide can be rendered more than 1000 device dots wide. Now these are generally used for only if the browser knows all the details of the screen on which your page is displayed, the printer you are using or whatever. A web browser display is affected by the size of the screen and resolution to which the screen is set. There isn't much that you as the author can do about these factors. If nothing else, measurement should be consistent in relation to each other. That is, setting of 1.0 inch should be twice as large as 0.5 inch. Let's make the fairly suspect assumption that your computer knows enough about the display system to accurately reproduce real measurements. You can make every paragraph as a top model. Absolute units are much more useful in defining style sheets for printed documents, while measuring things in terms of pixel points because it's common. Pixel lengths. Okay, no pixels. No pixel is something that we would be using a lot. So let's see what does it mean. On the face, things pixels are straightforward, but if you look at a screen closely, you can see it's broken down into a grid of tiny boxes. Each box is a pixel. So you define an element to be a certain number of pixels tall and wide as the following mark. Then it follows that the element will be many screen elements tall and wide. The problem is, thanks to identity those found on mobile devices and modern other individual screen elements aren't treated as pixels anymore. Instead, pixels in CSS are translated into something that aligns with human expectation that is covered in the next section. The pixel theory. Now, in its discussion of pixel, CSS specification recommends that when a display's resolution density is significantly different from 96 pixels per inch, user agents should scale pixel measurements to a reference. The W3C standard defines pixel as follows: the visual angle of one pixel of a device with a device density pixel of 96 and a distance from other reader for a normal arm's length of 28 inches. The visual angle is therefore about okay. The iPad Pro is I haven't seen relative yet. Let's see pixels more. Pixels image. When I say 1 pixel image means what is a pixel? Let's see. Let's dive a bit deeper into this and see what is a pixel. Concept of pixels. Pixels are two words. What is a pixel? These are images, right? Let's see all. So let's see this. So what I can say is every image is divided into small boxes. Now when I say 1920, that means every, okay, can I say it this way? The smallest unit of a is a pixel box. Can I say that? Yes, so I can say so every section has small pixels. I say when I say 2 cross 2 means the smallest unit will have height and width. Uh, Height and width going up to which that is 2. So basically the height will be 2. Let's check a 2 cross 2 pixel image. Let's say 1 cross 1. 1 cross 1 is a single. Oh, sorry. So this is one single image. So every box will have a 1 1 1 1. Oh, so basically high image will have high pixels. So 1920 cross 720 means one single pixel will have man, that's so many boxes. 1920, it will be the length and width of 10. One single unit. So by 2 cross 2, what does it mean? Something called as pixel art. Also, pictures are basically squares. In 1 inch. So I don't use pixel, I say 1 ppi resolution. Yeah, but in CSS there are no pictures, right? The two cross to have. So in no. What is it on grid? This 100 pixels is smallest unit, or what can I say? I guess that refers to the smallest unit. No, when I say 100 cross 100, it is in total I have that many pixels. Hundred pixels of big points. It forms like a grid-like thing. So I have 100 in 100 boxes in. I see image pixel means what? Why do pixels have a higher tone height than width? Yeah, so there is something that is different, right? So when we display an image on the screen, it takes the size of the screen. And when I say pixels, why does it have to be a row and column thing? The aspect ratio is something else. Like a single. So all images are divided into boxes in a grid format. Now how much this grid has, how many vertical boxes and horizontal boxes? Let's see, 1920 plus 1920. How should I see the boxes? Let's reduce the size. So what he's saying is the size of the image, the size of the screen. That's all. By default, it takes. Yeah, by default, it will take up the screen size. Now, when I say resolution Resolution is what is important. I know resolution means to resolve, but not what is the meaning of resolution. What is a display resolution or an image resolution? Image resolution. Now what is trying to say? Image resolution is the level of detail in image. The term applies to detail images, films, images, and others. So the overall size of a picture, lines per pixel count. The term resolution is often considered equivalent to pixel and digital imaging. Number of n pixels, height by n pixels can have many resolutions as n lines. Okay, below is an example of how same height might appear in different pixel resolution. This is a single pixel. This is 2 pixels. So I have more number of pixels and I can occupy more number of. So remember, all colors are broken down into small boxes, right? So the more the boxes, the more accurate detailing I can have. That's what he's trying to say, I guess. So you can say pixels or boxes, more colors. More boxes means more colors, means more resolution, something like that. Yeah. Now let's come to why we, for example, if I give, okay, now resolution unit, now some units are based on display resolutions, dots per inch, dots per centimeter, sorry, dots per centimeter, dots per pixel unit. When I do text with font size 16 pixel, now what that does? Now I said text, uh, why does it increase the size now? When I say font size, will improve quality, right? No, what's happening here? When I use font size 16 pixel, it is going to do something else. It is not going to increase the resolution or something. It is going to increase the size. Why? But then size should be in length or width, right? I mean, so when I do no pixels and font size. This is not the traditional resolution thing. It's something else. Now is the size increasing though? No, why does font size increase size? I don't know. Sorry, why does pixel increase the size? What do you mean by height of text? No, 16 pixel is translated to what height? Does font size converted into some should be converted into what formula does it use? Okay, so now resolution. Some unit types are based on display resolution. Dots per inch, the number of display dots per linear inch. This can refer to the dots on a paper's printing output on physical pixel on a LED screen or another or other element in a e-link display such as used by Kindle. Dots per centimeter, same as DPI, except the linear measurement is 1 centimeter instead of 1 inch. Dots per pixel, the number of display dots per CSS pixel unit, with 1 dpx being equivalent to 696 dpi because CSS defines pixel units at that ratio. Just bear in mind the ratio could change in the future than the CSS. Now, these units are often sorted as an example. An author can create a media block to be used on displays. So what does 10 dpi mean? Like 10 dpi image, how does it look like? On an image 10 dpi font. What is points? No, when I say print. Why do you say we say points? I mean, It's a dots per pixel unit. So what does this mean? Is this anywhere related to boxes? Oh, what I said by boxes is no, what is he trying to say? CSS pixels are the physical pixels are determined by the screen. So 32 physical pixels means what? Why is the browser using 32? When we say 32 physical pixels, we are talking about the number of actual device pixels required to display something on the screen. If our device has a 2 pixel density, each CSS pixel is made up of. So what is saying, one CSS pixel will be equivalent to 2 physical pixels in both horizontal and vertical direction. So therefore, if I do 16 pixel, it will be worth 32 in horizontal, 32 in vertical. Okay, so what he's trying to say is when we use pixels with font size, we're not relating to the size. Sorry, we're not relating to the resolution. We are saying it is the size. And what formula is saying is depending upon the pixel density, that is depending upon the screen, that size might be defined. Okay, so if the screen resolution is high, then then one CSS pixel will be converted into um, will have more pixel density, right? So better screens have more pixel density. Yeah, so basically, mm, so general displays. So what we're trying to say is the 16 CSS pixel may be different in different screens. This is an abstract unit of measurement and the actual size will be based on the screen's resolution of pixels. How does increasing the pixel affect the size? So is font size broken down to pixels? Let's break down how the browser renders. So when you set font size 16 pixel, a logical unit of 16 pixels is the starting point. The CSS pixels are based on a unit that is defined roughly 1 by 96 of an inch. Now the device pixel ratio is a key factor in determining how many physical pixels are used to represent each CSS pixel. So it varies depending on the device current resolution. The standard one I have now, if it is a I have one CSS pixel is two physical pixels. Two physical pixels. So then when the browser first calculates the desired font size in pixels, that is 16. Then it is uses the DPR to determine how many physical pixels are needed to render those 16 pixels. For example, but what does he mean by 16 physicals? So by this it is mean 16 squares. I'm using 16 physical pixels. Also, as the size increases, more numbers because more number of boxes are needed. This has nothing to do with. Oh, it's different. Yeah, so suppose if you have a maze, right, like a If you have a grid, let's draw. Let's the option to erase. What is there anywhere I can draw a square or something? Let's hold shift. So let's assume this. So what is he saying is, suppose this is some font size, right? And this is another. So the height is increased because here, and these are small boxes. Consider I have small boxes here. But this is getting increased because I have more boxes in here. Right. More boxes. So hence that is getting, and these are here I have less boxes. The DPI will be like, there will be something called as DPI, right? That will vary on a device. It depends on the device, right? But this, so the 16 pixels. So if I say one pixel is one CSS pixel is one device pixel, so then 16 will have 16 here, right? I'll have 16 boxes over here, 16 boxes here, and 16 boxes here. When I say 32, I'll have 32 here, and so then the length and breadth both will increase. So does it change both the length and breadth? I guess. As more boxes are added. Yeah. So CSS 16 pixels. So when I say, let's do something. So when I say, is there any styling in here? Let's add a H1 here. And then below it has the same H1, but this should be something. So I go in here and I go, oh, this is not closed. I go in here and I got, this is my class, right? And I got font size. Make this as something like 80 pixels. And then go here. Then there's just a class as and I got font size as, say, let's this be a 60. Let's see what is the HTML getting rendered. Yeah, the width of this versus the width of this. Let's know. And that will give it to the entire spreadsheet LLO. Be much more clear. Sorry. See, this has increased in width as well. See, system here. And if I go down something like that, it's going to increase more because more boxes have come in size. Okay, that's nice. Now, okay, then relative units. Now, relative units are also called because they are measured in relation to other things. The actual absolute distance they measure can change because of factors beyond their control. The screen resolution, the width of the viewing area, users' preference settings, and a whole host of other things. In addition, for some relative units, their size is almost always related to the element that uses them. First, let's consider the character-based length units, EM, EX, CH. The EM unit. One EM is defined to be the value of font size for a given font. If the font size of an element is 14 pixels, then 1 EM is equal to 14 pixels. So EM, what is trying to say is EM unit is relative to something. What is it related to though? EM unit is related to it's like whatever will be the size of the element is related to that element. So when I do 20 pxem, this means this is going to be into 2. This is the half. So it is. Oh, it is. This is a relative unit, so it will be. Okay, just like that. Let's add some nodes. Let's minimize this. Get this thing here. Then now let's come here. Pixels. And pixels in CSS does not mean the resolution. Like of an array, like of an image. So when we use pixel in images, the size remains intact. The quality increases. But in CSS pixels are different. They relate to the DPI of the screen and are calculated based on DPI. So meaning to say F16px represents 10 blocks vertically and horizontally, and when we change it to 32px, it will increase for more boxes added vertically and horizontally. resolution not talked about. Okay, then let's come to relative units. Relative. The first is EM. So EM is with respect to parent. And the EX unit refers to the height of a lowercase x. With respect to the font size. So it will be font size of the parent with respect to that. No, so yeah, is it? Image related to the whatever the font size is. Okay. The EX unit refers to the height of a lowercase x in the font being used. Therefore, if two paragraphs use text that is 21 points in, but each paragraph uses a different font, then the values of EX will be different for each paragraph. Different font size have different heights for X. So EX is related. No, EX is related to its. What do you say? Small case X. Related small case X of that font. Then next is CH. CH is border pointers by one character. Okay. We don't. So the next. Okay. Then there is something called a CH unit as well. Although never like I haven't used it yet. Then there's root relative length units. The most of the character based length units discussed in the previous have a corresponding root relative value is what that is calculated with the input of the element of the document and thus provides a uniform value no matter where it is used. Now there is okay, so this will be RGM is relative to parent. Oh, sorry, root. So now EM is what if different fonts have different size, right? We will mail differently when used. That is what he's saying here. Okay. EMEXH, okay. Now viewport relative units. Now CSS provides 6 viewport relative size. These are calculated with respect to the size of the viewport. Viewport is basically the browser window. Okay. And these are relative units. Now let's come to viewport. Let's this is single size of the window. Now there is viewport height. Now if the one unit is equal to now it's one viewport width 1 BW is equal to viewport's width divided by 100. Therefore if the viewport is 937 pixels wide One viewport is 9.37 pixels. Okay, I'm saying this is what is one view width. This is 9.37 pixels on the view width, and view height is similarly. What is one view height? Is saying that this is one VH. One VH is 9.37. Oh, this is 6.5. This is dependent on the browser size, like browser window. Now maximum unit Vmax. Now this is, yeah, this is with respect to the size of the viewport. Yeah, it will be one of the size of the viewport, remember. There is something called as min and max as well that is used. Color we use RGB values or opacity. So yeah, that is okay. I don't think so. That should be something. Oh, how do we define custom properties? So to define custom properties, we use hyphen. So custom properties is this. So the custom identifier should begin with two hyphens, and it can be invoked by using letter by var keyword. So yeah, it's better to use RGB values for colors. So when we need to do, we can do some math as well using calculate function. There are certain important functions as well. One is cal. This is for calculation. And then is min. What does this do? For example, it will return the smallest value. So there are two possible, right? One is minimum and maximum. Is never wider than a certain amount, and image should be 1/4. Whichever is smaller, otherwise the element will be as wide as the viewport, which will be easily. No, okay, so the browser will compute the width of 25 and it will come. This value will be computed in pixels. So whichever is smaller, if 200 pixels is smaller than 25% width, then 200 pixels will be used. So what does it do? So I have a list of values. Calculate the smallest. Okay, I will calculate the smallest. When I do min, so what am I achieving by returning the smallest value? Suppose 50 we got is the smallest value, then what? Keeping is meant to be flexible layouts with the height adjustable in the viewport on the side, but does not. So it's saying that minimum it should be when I say minimum 100 px, 200 px. What does this mean? It will be sent to the minimum of those. The div elements width will be set to 100 pixels because 100 pixels is smallest value between 100 pixels. And what if we exceed, like we reduce it below 100? No, what if we change the width below 100 pixels? Okay, I understand the smaller values are but what if we reduce the size of the browser? Then what? Whichever is smaller and smaller than the 25%, then 200 pixels will be used, otherwise the element will be 25% as wide as the viewport, which could easily be smaller than 1 em. The closest to negative infinity, not closest to 0. So minimum will be always assigned to the width. The minimum bit should always be 100. Does it mean that? Oh, so yeah, what he's trying to say is the value 1 um whichever is the minimum, and max will be the other value. Then I have something called as max. This means max, it can be maximum, and then will be the remaining. definition correct? And is this definition correct? It will never go. Below the other value. I see. Color we use RGB values, right? There is a color picker app as well. Oh yeah, then there is something called as custom properties in CSS. Fifth is custom properties in CSS. How to define custom properties? I guess you need to use the hyphen. Define custom. Use this custom property we use where, and then so when I say where the value of this will be used. Oh, it's a repetition, right? Instead of having colors defined, just use the same value. Wherever that value is needed, so like and use its value where we need it. That's all for this lecture. Thanks, bye.